So designers are looking for this copy space in photos, your footage, vectors, and even illustrations. So this video is useful for everyone. Yay! So today I'm going to list all the different ways you can include copy space in your images, from the obvious to the more creative. Let's get going. Copy space is sometimes called negative space or empty space, and it's where designers put text or other graphics over your image. It's so important to the usability and saleability of your images. So most designers are looking for copy space in both photos and video footage and vectors as well. Now, if you're used to shooting portraits or weddings or other types of work, you might not be used to shooting in this way, or you might even be anti-copy space and think that having negative space is a bad idea. So for stock photography, just say no to your intolerance of the copy space. If you're coming from the normal world of photography, have I offended someone or myself? A good tip is to just take 1 or 2 steps backwards. That will give you that extra bit of space around your subject, creating the copy space. Voila! Personally, I think this is really good practice to do for all genres of photography anyway. This goes against what the old rules used to be, but the old rules were built in the days of film, and now we have the technology to be able to take multiple images, crop in at will, so some of those rules need to go. Somewhere where you really need to consider copy space is for magazine covers and book covers. These usually have a title and an author's name, and in the case of a magazine, lots of other information down the side. If you're new to this genre or shooting for it, then you absolutely need to know about copy space. There is or are agencies that are dedicated just to selling book covers. Archangel is one of them. I'll put a link. I have an account there. I'm kind of hopeless. I think the niche of book covers is quite competitive, and there are people that devote themselves to just shooting book covers, which is amazing. Things that can be copy space. Anything that's blank. Captain Obvious. Think shadows, reflections, blurry bits, your highlights, blue skies, oceans, the road, any vast section of your image that's just a solid color without your subject in it. Let's talk about the different ways that you can create copy space. First of all, copy space can be made with creating actual blank spaces in your image. So things like these Polaroids, which actually were blank, so I didn't even have to take the photo out of them. Or the clipboard, computer screens, TV screens, mobile phone screens. That's a more literal version of doing copy space, where people can superimpose other images into that space. Slightly different from what we're talking about here, where designers would superimpose text and want to have negative space in the image. Still fall under the same banner, I think, but slightly different things. Another way of doing copy space is to use just backgrounds. So the textured background as copy space is obviously not new. I'm saving the good stuff till the end, okay? I don't know if this is very lucrative because there's a million of them already, but they don't cost anything to shoot. And if you're starting out and looking for the practice and just wanting to fill out your portfolio, these are such easy things to take. And who knows, maybe a designer is looking for what you specifically shot today. So Cracked Earth, and my particular one perhaps for some reason stands out from all of the rest. I don't know, that didn't cost me anything to shoot that. Now, to level up on this idea, because we have all the good ideas here, you can make your own background. So you can paint your own textured boards, shoot your own unique textures at home, and then create borders around them and make your own seasonal backgrounds or unique backgrounds that people can then put copy space into. This is really common to do for autumn, fall, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, all these types of things. I don't do a lot of this. I probably should. I can be lazy, not gonna lie. I think maybe, like architecture, I love the idea of this, but every time I try it, it's just an epic fail, and I just get discouraged, and so I go shoot something else. And we all have our things that we love to shoot and we're good at, and this one, I'm just not awesome at this. So here you can see that I've done Well, not done, I didn't even create that. I had that textured board lying around. I lived on a farm. We had a lot of really cool stuff lying around like that. And I created this little foodie moment with dried chilies and the bay leaves. I'm not gonna pretend that's awesome. I don't know what I was thinking. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Classic back to school tropes of pencils on paper. So again, here's a renovating background idea that somebody could easily put copy over. And then this is something, again, another byproduct. I was actually shooting another thing that actually has been a very successful shoot. And so I created this moment where there's that bit of copy space in the center and all the flowers around the outside. Just a quick look through my backgrounds. You can take close-up photos of artwork. Make sure you have a property release this. We talked about property releases earlier. So all of these are released because they're all actually my artwork. You can't just go and take a macro photo in a museum and then sell a portion of it. That's not a good idea. Other copy space methods are the left-hand side, the right-hand side. So kind of how I'm sitting now. We're going to leave one half of the image open for copy. Girl at shopping center looking away, huge amount of copy space in that one. Teenage girls at high school formal, car in Outback Australia. So just good examples of left-right copy space. The skiing photo. This photo actually breaks a lot of rules because usually you should have your subject, if they're in motion, they should be moving into the scene, not out of the scene. But again, we like to break rules here, don't we? There's some really good copy space in there, in the sky and all of that lovely white snow. The coffee cup in hand, super generic, nice bit of copy space on the right. Now you'll notice that this technique applies to all genres. If it's people, it's places, it's food or still life, this left-right copy space thing applies across the board. And similarly, we've now got the above or below idea. So this is something you might usually do in verticals, but also horizontals. This works as well, where I've got a huge amount of copy space on the top here, and I found this being used, and all they've done is actually just taken that bit of sky and the bit of ocean. Obviously they chose mine because it's literally Whyalla, and they actually wanted to have the proper location for this moment. But there's an example where all of that copy space is being well used. And finally, just to complete the trifecta, we have the version where you might have your subject in the center and you've left copy space on the top or the bottom or the left or the right. Or both, or all. We're actually doing leading lines with copy space. Extra points. So even though it might look a little bit busy to your eye, the reflection is a great way to create copy space. So in this photo of the cat, it might look a little bit busy, but actually all of that is fantastic copy space. We don't really need to see the reflection of the cat. It's really cool to have it under there. And the designer can easily tone it down. Maybe put a white box over all of this space. Turn it down to nothing. Take the edge off it just a little bit. Make it a bit more natural looking. And type my genius text in here. And your busy logo there. Ta-da! Okay, so now really pushing this creativity up to the very end, we're looking for something a bit weird as copy space. Think about abstracts, symbolism, and quirkiness. Cracked mirrors, cracks in the pavement, interesting shadows, interesting roads, interesting shapes. Anything that is unique and makes you stand out. So now just to get to some examples of where my images have been used. So here's an image from my never-ending series of renovation projects. Here's the online version of that in use. As you can see, this image has a lot of copy space and they've utilized that well. And here's another one of mine that I found being used. The photo has a lot of copy space, negative space up the top here, where a designer can put all their information. I guess one of the cons of doing this is that your image doesn't stand out because it's not shot so close up, and so maybe in the whole page of images it's not going to pop. So we have a solution for that as well. Obviously, when you're shooting, you're making a shoot, you're going to shoot a series of images, vertical and horizontal, of course, copy space, and then hone in on your hero and make sure you do a couple that are just on the subject. So here, really nice copy space to the left and right. But actually in this whole shoot, I did do other photos involving putting on the sunscreen, really popular concept, particularly in Australia. And they don't all have the same level of copy space. So I made sure that I kept one super simple. And again, in this series where I shot some biltong, and again, I've created some copy space imagery, and then I've done some close-ups as well. Keywording copy space. Is it one word or two words? Nobody knows. It's a made-up word. So here we are in Shutterstock, copy space. Oh, they don't like it because they think copy space is two words. And yet other sites think copy space is one word. What to do? Put them both. And if you're a designer and you're watching, hi, thank you. Please let me know in the comments how you spell copy space, and when you're searching, which one do you use? Thank you. Now this concept of copy space, I hope that I've really impressed upon you how important it is, but just in case you're not convinced, let's go to Shutterstock and they'll convince you. Shutterstock have editing tools so you can actually edit images within Shutterstock and have a play around with them. Want to add text to an image? Use this new feature to find images with the right amount of white space. See, Shutterstock are calling copy space white space as well. So to them, copy space is two words, which I think technically it is. I'm all for making up new words. I'm a Scrabble fanatic, so I love new words. Although, can we talk about the fact that the Q should no longer be worth 10 points? Really shouldn't. So, coffee's always fun. Copy space coffee. So when you're searching, then it automatically gives you all of these images that have a bit of copy space. Click and drag within the grid to select where you want your copy space. Cool. So if I want it up here, then look, the AI is so clever, it works out. I just want copy space on the right only. My logo is really tricky. I just want copy space here. Yeah, so that's really cool, hey. Okay, and so at Stocksy as well, they have a copy space filter. So you can go in here and say a low level of copy space and it filters for that. The little gremlins are hard at work. Very clever, working out where the copy space is. Okay, so I'm sure I could go on and on. I have over 15,000 images online for sale, and doing the research for this took me back, which was really fun. I hope this has inspired you to be a little bit more aware of the importance of copy space and how to incorporate it into your photography. Back to work, see you next time.